You're a goddess. You're a goddess.
Well, this is my first convention, as you might know. And actually, yesterday, I just said a couple of brief introductory remarks, and I'd like to say a few other things, because the real reason I did this, I had not done any conventions, and I did it because, basically, I wanted to say a thank you to all of you. I have had such wonderful support from the fans and Trekkies and whatever. I've had a lot of terrific support. Trekkers! I was just testing to see if you were really with me. Anyway, and I did really want to thank you all from the bottom of my heart for all of the warmth and support and the letters. And I am going to get around to answering all those letters. It takes me a while, folks, but I will get them back to you, those of you who write me. And I also wanted to answer a couple of questions that I knew were going to be the major questions. So what happened? Why aren't you back on the show? Well, I will tell you what I know, and that is that the producers decided to go another direction with the character. That's what I was told, that's what my agent was told. And I was quite surprised myself, because I thought it was going along pretty well. I was having a good time. But c'est la vie, folks, and I'm now doing a play that I'm thrilled to be doing.
Where?
So in New York City. It's an Australian play at the Perry Street Theater. It's called Emerald City. It's by a man named David Williamson. He's a very well-known writer in Australia. In fact, he just wrote the thing about Imelda Marcos that's going to be on tomorrow night, I think, on television. It just got great reviews. He's an amazing writer. It's called Emerald City, Perry Street Theater. It's a limited run, very short run. The man also wrote Year of Living Dangerously, Gallipoli. He's the writer of all those screenplays. So he's a very good writer. And I'm having a ball doing my Australian accent down there and trying to make, see what it's like to be back doing theater instead of television. So anyway, that's what's happening in my life. And I guess I should just open up the floor to questions, except I do want to say the only thing, a couple people had asked me, I actually missed the crew and cast. We all got along very well. The only thing, I know there was one thing that came out that upset me in the Post, the New York Post, that said the crew, that said I didn't get along with the crew or something like that, which the day it came out, two of the guys from the electrical crew were over hanging out at my place in Los Angeles, and I got a call from a friend in New York who said, guess what? So that hurt my feelings, because that was sort of never rescinded, and that I don't feel is true. But other than that, I have no complaints. I had a great time, and I enjoyed doing the character, so, and I'm happy now. I'm okay. So, what questions do you have? Yes?
Well, I believe, this isn't really a question, but I believe so. I want to just say this right now. I think I speak for everyone when I say that I think you're wonderful and beautiful, and we're going to miss you.
Oh, thank you. Well, first of all, I'm not telling whether I slept with Jean-Luc or not. And I'm not telling whether Will Wheaton or Wesley is whose baby he really is. And I'm not going to give you the lowdown on Jack Crusher, because that's going to cost you folks. But I know, make no mistake, I know. And yes, I do know how to turn data on. I'll do a tap dance soon. All right, what other questions? In the back, straight. Will I be making cameo appearances? I know everybody's been asking me this, like yesterday. I don't know anything about it, folks, so, you know, why not ask the producers? I think that's where you should direct the question, because I haven't been asked. So, I don't know. You know, I heard that there's something that said that I might appear, that they sent out, but I haven't been told about it, and they didn't send it out to me. So. Write those letters. I mean, write to Mel Harris? Oh, all right. Write to Mel Harris. Yes.
How about the kid that's on the show?
About the kid? My dear darling son? What about, yes?
What's he going to do? Is he going to be on?
Look, folks, I have been back doing other projects, like, you know, I don't know, I'm not in. Richard, you should ask about all of the script developments. I can only talk about things that I had thought about when I was doing it, of possible script developments, but that's sort of gratuitous right now, wouldn't you say? Because I'm not doing that. I don't know what's going to happen to Wesley, but I brought him up very well, and I think he will be fine. I asked him to call home, and he calls home all the time, and it's fine, and, you know, he's going to be dating soon. I'm sure he'll be wonderful. Yes.
I can do a total amount of appreciation of the fans.
Oh,
By your time to watch it.
oh, thank you. Thank you. Very nice, very nice. Yes.
I heard rumors that you are known as a bit of a practical joker on the set, along with Will Wheaton. What's the best practical joke you ever pulled on anyone?
Me? I would never do a practical joke. I don't know. You always want to tell these wonderful anecdotes, but they sort of, a lot of things which were very funny at the time probably wouldn't bear repeating, you know. I've been known to do pratfalls on the set, you know, sort of completely, I've done a lot of clowning pratfall sort of stuff, so I've done things like that, and I don't know, I used to do anything I could get away with, I guess. I don't have any specific story I can think of, sorry. Yes?
What was your favorite episode?
The 1940s episode, Big Five. I had a lot of fun doing that one. Yes?
Can you tell us about James Crosby's last day on the set? What that was like?
It was a really, like, we were shooting lots and lots of scenes. It was a nice emotional feeling with the cast. We all felt a great camaraderie, which we usually did. I mean, the cast really got along and very, very well. So we understood the situation, and we were just shooting. And I think it was very emotional for Denise, and she did a terrific job in her last episode. And you know, it was, because we all cared, it was easier to shoot because the emotion, we felt it genuinely, so it was really there. And actually, someone yesterday asked me about something like about scenes that had been cut, and one of my favorite scenes, one of the best things I think I ever did for the show, was a scene between Wesley and me, where we talked about death and his father at the funeral, right over where she was being, you know, up on that knoll. And that scene was cut, but it was actually, to me, one of the best things I did in the 23 episodes of shooting. You know, it's not in an episode. So it was a very nice together last day for Denise. Yes. Oh gosh, that's right. Yeah, that was a long shoot day. She wants to know about the coming of age episode. There was a long birthday party for Wesley. There's nothing of real import. It just ended up not being that interesting of a shot. We took so many different angles, and there was such a large group. A lot of times when I think you're in a room and you have a lot of different characters, it's hard because if you don't have the distance to do a really interesting, exciting master shot, you end up having to do lots of different close-ups, and it can take forever. And it might not be, you know, there might just be 4 lines. And I think that ultimately that's just what happened. I think that there was so much other material that was really dramatic and interesting that they probably cut it. I don't know, though. That's just my guess. Yes?
How did you shoot falling down into that hole in Arsenal Freedom's Picard? Was there a mat? Was it a stunt person?
There was a mat. There was a stunt person. I did a part of a trip. I actually usually, I mean, I think I asked to do some of that stunt stuff because I've done some stunt things, but it ended up, it was good that I didn't. She sort of hit her head at one point. She was fine, but she was, you know, it was a dangerous stunt. She did fall down, and you had to do it in a run.
And he had to do it, didn't he? Because we saw him on the front.
No, we both fell. We did a partial fall, both of us, onto mats, but she really went down from, she did the shot where it came from above. We did the falls, both of us, this way. We fell onto mats, but that wasn't hard. It's not scary if you're falling onto a mat like this. It's scary if you're falling down a hole that's got a real distance. Yes? What did I know about the original Star Trek, and did I refer to what I knew while preparing for the part? I did not know a tremendous amount, to be honest with you, about the old Star Trek. I obviously had seen some episodes, but I had not seen like all of the episodes by any means. I'd only seen about 3 episodes. I had seen the new Star Trek movie, the one with the whale, which I liked very much. This was before I got the job, so I had a feeling of who these people were. But I really felt, you know, it was quite different. I felt, for one thing, Patrick Stewart is quite a different captain than William Shatner plays. And obviously, I am a woman, so I'm not, you know, sort of like bone crusher here, I guess. You know, it's that's what I thought it must have been. I didn't give myself the name. I'm proud of my name, Dr. Gresham. But I'm sure that there was that must have been the only in-joke. Other than that, I played it just the way I saw it. I had a child. It was quite a different feeling, I thought, than the other characters. So basically, I just approached it like I would approach any acting role, deciding how I wanted to make the character live and that sort of thing. Yes?
I know that you speak with Dr. Richard Manning. He said he just visited you recently, earlier this year. Now, I gave him a letter to give to you. I don't know if you got the letter.
Oh, I don't know if I did. You should mail my stuff to Paramount. I get all my mail. Richard takes care of me very well. That's the best place because I travel a lot. And he was asking me if I taught with Dr. Richard Menon. Yes, I've taught. I met Richard Menon when I taught at the University of Pittsburgh. I've taught at University of Pittsburgh. I've taught at Brandeis University in the graduate school, New York University Graduate School of the Arts. I just taught a third-year advanced acting seminar in the graduate school about a month ago. But I've been on the faculty for like 5 years at NYU. I'm no longer a member of the faculty, but I direct and I teach there as a guest artist. I've taught at about 12 other universities, but I haven't been full-time faculty there. Yeah, Dick is a great friend of mine. Yes.
You making any more remakes?
Can you give the first
from the old
episode?
series?
I'm sorry. I'll get to you next. Right here. Yes.
Star Trek came out with a remake of an old series. Are there any more remakes?
I can't answer. Are there any more remakes of old series? I don't know. I can't answer you on up-to-date questions in terms of that, because I'm up-to-date in Manhattan now, folks. Although LA soon. Yes, now...
Ms. Gates, are you aware that tonight they're going to give the first episode with the other nurse take your place?
I beg your pardon, the other nurse, he said. What do you think? I mean, really, all of those years of med school, I can't believe it. Yes, I mean, I hear it's going to happen. It's what?
We'll be sad to see you go.
Well, thank you very much. I mean, I appreciate that. I'm going to be actually doing a play tonight, so I won't see it tonight, but I'm sure it will be wonderful, and I'm sure it will be... She doesn't have the same name, so it's a different character. And, boy, I guess I'm just lucky I got to speak to you today and not tomorrow, because you might have hated me by tomorrow.
No.
What? Okay. I recommended her for the job, Richardson. Yes. Do I have any plans to star in any movies? I'll tell you, I have so many plans to be the lead in about every major motion picture that has to be done. And in reality, I'm just doing this one project now, and there are some things that are possibilities, but nothing's set. But I would love to. I have lots of plans. I'll probably be going back and forth between Los Angeles and here for a while. Yes?
I saw a photo outside that has Captain Carr and everyone. Black hats and have a name on it.
Oh, yeah.
My God, they have pictures that we haven't even had copies of. This is amazing, because that was with... I went to Disneyland with Will Wheaton. And we did this just on our own as human beings. And while I was there, I said, I love hats. And so I almost bought the Mad Hatter hat for myself. But I did resist, and instead I said, why don't we get hats? They put names on your hats. So Will and I bought the hats for everybody, and it was a present that we did in some inane day on the set. And we actually got in trouble because everybody loved them and they all put them on. And the poor hairdressers, you know, they were like... I definitely got a little bit in trouble on that one, but I did apologize. But it was funny. Yes.
Did you ever feel intimidated having to convey accurate medical knowledge?
I thought I did it very well. Well, no, what was very funny about the medical knowledge is so many times I had never seen such pressure where you would just be taken in for a rehearsal and then handed all these things that you had never in your life seen before. And these are supposed to be instruments that I'm using daily. Then I actually started to have a blast figuring out what I would use them for, because I got to decide how I wanted to do it. And I thought, oh great, I want to give them hypospray shots in the neck. That's what, you know, because I thought that would be the last place I personally would like a shot, is in the neck. So I thought that's great. And that I enjoyed, you know, I enjoyed sort of figuring it out. Figuring out how the instruments worked and thinking, wouldn't that be great if there was no pain and I could just, this thing which looks like a ballpoint pen, I'm going to make, have some special effects. That was fun. You know, it was a lot of pressure, yes, sometimes, because you'd be sort of trying to figure out how the machinery could stay together and say your lines, walking and talking at the same time. Oh, by the way, I want to see one of those pictures with the hats. I never got to see one of those. Well, I want to get one of those. Okay, yes. Oh, upstairs. I'm sorry. All right, after this, yes.
Did the way you prepared and worked on the character differ at all from what we eventually saw on the screen?
No. I mean, there are compromises that one makes all the time in anything.
In terms of what the writers imagined, as opposed to what you...
Well, but it sort of developed, and I felt I had a lot of input. I was always nagging people by bringing doctor-patient books and things like that and suggesting different ideas. I got very involved in it. That's the way I am about anything I do. You know, I get very excited about possibilities. There were certain things I would have loved to have seen the character have, but when you have such a large cast, it's not like they have a lot of characters to deal with. So things took time, but I felt that certainly by the end the character was getting more and more developed, and you know, I felt very, I felt there were a lot of things in the last 10 episodes. So it was coming along, I felt. Up on top, yes. And
Are they going to kill you off the show?
boy, I'd like to see him try. No. What I mean by that, I'm just kidding. I'm not on the show, but I'm not going back to shoot an episode where I'm dying. No, I mean that would have happened already, and it hasn't. You see what I mean? It's like I'm sure there's a logical explanation of me doing medical research somewhere, and
The characters transfer so she can medical transfer.
see, there you are. I've been promoted. I'm making lots of money. I have a better pension. There's nothing to complain about here. Okay? Someone else up here? Do I think he's a sexist? No, I don't think he's a sexist. Why do you think he is? Well, I don't know. I felt that I came into Gene's office many times, and we had many discussions about the character, and I felt he always would listen to the things I offered. So, what can I say? I think the industry sometimes is a rather sexist industry, but the television industry, but not always and not everyone. And Gene Roddenberry was always very receptive to my suggestions. Yes. Yes, I have been in contact with some of the other cast members since I left the show. Well, they're my personal friends. They tell me they miss me, and the hairdressers have called me and said they miss me. And yeah, I mean, when I'm in LA, I talk to them all, and I love them. I miss them. The arm just, yes. Yes?
Well, I wanted to let you know, since I saw the first episode last night,
afraid maybe there'll be a fight coming up. She's not going to say who dies, don't worry.
There are two characters who are portrayed as missing your presence.
Well, that's nice. That's nice. That's very nice.
Screen acting, you know, in front of a camera live stage. Is there one you prefer? Do you have big adjustments to make?
Stage acting or screen acting? Well, I mean, television is different than film acting. I mean, somewhat. It's all acting. So you have basically, you usually use your same process. There are different logistical, sort of technical aspects of both of them. I like the contact with an audience live. It's been what I've grown up. Theater has been my background primarily. I like that very much when there's a direct contact with the audience, although, you know, because when there's something that's happening, it's really electrifying and it's magical. Although when it's not happening, it's also pretty intense. But I like it all. I mean, I don't have that much film experience. I would like to do more film. And I'm sure I would enjoy that very much too. Yes?
How old are you?
Did I ask you how old you were?
How old were you when you had Wesley?
Today, but now if you really think I would say my age, you must be kidding. Right? 21. Well, I don't know, I get a lot of people who go, oh God, you look so much older on the show. So I don't know, I would imagine, if anything, I'm younger than what everybody thinks, because people seem to think I'm like much older maternal figure in the show. Actually, I'm very kooky and crazy. Yes. No, I never, no, they weren't around at all. They were all busy in their lives. Yes. Yeah, it's tough, I'll tell you, with all those patients. He said, are you about the only person in the medical lab? Yeah, we actually started talking about that because I was trying to find certain assistants. I wanted someone who was the equivalent of a nurse. You know, I felt that I needed to establish some rapport. And by the end, we started using the same couple of people who would be always around sick bay. Because it also made it easier. They were used to handling the instruments, and I was used to working with them, and it would go much faster than every time getting somebody brand new who had never used the hypo spray or used the tricorder or whatever. So I take your point. I felt that that was something that was starting to happen, though, and perhaps they're going to go on with that. Yes, in the hat. So what are you asking? What soap opera did I? I've only done like very short things, like 4-day things on different soaps. I've never wanted to do a long-term role in a soap. I basically have always been doing theater, and when you're doing a show, you can shoot like sometimes a small character role. So I've done a bunch of them, but I've never been like a long-term character because I've never wanted to do that also. I've done other television. I've done The Cosby Show. I've done The Wizard. Other things, yeah, I've done other things. I was in the pilot episode of The Wizard. Yes. I couldn't hear that, what? Oh, okay, yeah, I would. Is it time? Hold on. Right, I have to tell you, I'm very sorry that I regret I cannot stay to sign autographs today. I know, I'm very sorry, but I can't because yesterday I just cut it too close and it was too frantic for me to get into this, my other job. But what I did do is I got up early this morning and I signed as many as I could sign of my latest picture, which I like, and there's someone who will have that at the convention table, and They're newly autographed today, so they're still warm. And I just did as many as I could, and of course maybe no one will like them, but if you do, it's whatever we have. And I do apologize, I'm not able to stay. Yes, sir.
I know that some of the people from the show were at conventions like here in New York. So I was wondering what type of things that they mentioned when they came back to the set. Because personally, I gave them home for her to look at. So what kind of things did they mention when they came back to the set?
Well, I mean, I can't, it's hard for me to remember back to any specifics. I think that the first people when they went to conventions, oh, this is great. Oh, that's great. I like that. The first people when they went to conventions, said that the people were very warm and were terrific. I can't remember any specific thing, because also keep in mind, we all don't shoot on the same days. Sometimes I would not, because all of my work was mainly in the sick bay. And for example, while we were friends outside, a lot of times I would only see Patrick Stewart and maybe Brent Spiner for the whole week. Spiner. I've known Brent for years, before Star Trek. So anyway, I mean, I didn't always see them when they came back from conventions, but they felt very warmly received by all of the fans, and they said, "Oh yeah, you should do them, you should do them." So, and I've had some wonderful gifts from people that have been just really thoughtful. So I think the fans are great. Yes. Okay, my background in my training background, and then how I got bitten by the science fiction bug. If I had, okay. I had I started doing performing things. I started dancing when I was about 3 years old, and did all sorts of circus skills as well. Tightrope, unicycle. I ride a very mean unicycle here, folks. Acrobatics. I tap danced for about 18 years. And then I also did plays. I acted in plays when I was a kid. I majored in college in theater arts. I took the graduate program when I was an undergraduate, and I went to school early. I was ahead in school. So then I went off to France and studied in France. I did theater for about 2.5, 3 years in France in French. And came back as my mentor over there. His name was Jacques Lecoq, and I came back as his assistant. We did a thing at Harvard University, and from then I started getting different offers of jobs, and I did some directing, teaching, choreography, and science fiction. Actually, just there were certain science fiction books I liked, like Dune and certain things like that. But I wasn't really in a science fiction. Was not my specialité, as they say. I just got the job for Star Trek, and that was my closest work in science fiction. Yes, okay. Emerald City's on a limited run till about December 18th. It's possible that it will be extended, but it's unclear because of other commitments different people have. I actually am not, right now, I'm not able to say what might be happening for me next. But anyway, I'm working on it. Yes. Oh, that's interesting. Which character would I have liked to have interacted with more? Well, I always felt a lack of having scenes with the other women. I always, I never really had more than... Denise and I used to sort of laugh about it. I think we had 2 eye contacts in about 23 episodes, And Troy and I had just a couple of scenes, and we always kept asking for, I specifically always was requesting more scenes like that. I would have liked to have had more interaction with all of the characters, actually. I think it would have been a lot of fun to interact with Jonathan Frakes more. I loved working with the captain and Data. That was a lot of fun, and we did a lot of stuff together. But I also would have loved to have done stuff with Worf and more stuff with Geordi. I always thought I should do an operation and save his sight. let's see, how are we doing? All right. Okay. All right, last few questions. Let me just go here, yeah? What's the last bit I couldn't hear on the accent? No, we had, oh yeah, you had to work off of tapes. We had a lot of tapes. And it's a very difficult accent. And the character I play, the movie Meryl Streep is doing has a much more, it's called an outback accent. It's much broader. The woman I play has been highly educated, so hers is a mixture. I mean, you still say things like, take her out of there then. You still have a very nasal sort of sound, but it's not as broad as some of them you hear. There's also a bit of standard British. But we worked with a dialect coach, and I had millions of tapes, and I met with a lot of Australians, and that's it. Yes, last question. Well, you see, what you all might not know is that on the cast breakdown of this Beverly Crusher character, it said somewhere in there, it said that all the people that at that time look 10 years, at least 10 years younger than they're supposed to be. This was in the cast for the writer's breakdown or something. It said that they're all a certain age, but they're actually 10 years younger. And I thought, well, that's great, but how are the fans going to know that? So anyway, oh yes, Wesley, you know, maybe, yeah, I had him young, very young. Okay, well, I thank you all very, very much.
Come on, please, a very nice hand for Gage McFadden, folks. Give her a nice send-off. Once again, autograph photos are all the way down in the artist's quarter. And coming up here in like 2 minutes will be Richard Chavez. So